And now 3 rounds of the lightweight division. Introducing first the fighter on my right. He weighed in at 159 pounds with a record of 1 win and 0 defeats. Fighting out of Combat Club, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Benjamin, the Bearded Assassin, Guillot. And now his opponent, standing across the cage and fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 160 pounds with a record of 2 wins and 1 defeat. Fighting out of highest on IMB, Charlotte, North Carolina, he is Jaywin, the Alpha Wilson. Your referee, Blake Grice.
You know, one of the things great about mixed martial arts is you get to see 2 different types of opponents. Now, the same weight class, sure, but on one side you've got a taller, rangier type fighter, and with a bearded assassin, a little bit shorter, stockier. Who can impose their game plan? Can the stockier guy close the distance, and can the rangier guy keep it?
Well, when you take a look at these 2 guys, you're absolutely right. The height difference is one thing if you're willing to use it. We've talked about this a million times. You can have range, you can have height, you can have that reach, but if you don't use it, it's pretty much meaningless. I mean, if you allow the other fighter to close that distance, big strikes there by Jaywin Wilson, by the way. Nice left and right hooks, backing up, but he's still connecting.
Good kick, I think, finds his mark. The bearded assassin eating some shots. And Ben Guillot, you know, content with staying on the edge right now, but he's going to need to find a way to get inside and land some of those big punches like the one he just tried to throw.
Jaywin Wilson's giving him everything he can handle, though. Big left straights, but Benjamin Guillot closes the distance. Jaywin Wilson does a great job of thwarting that and controlling the clinch.
And that was a great takedown defense right there, Cyrus Fees. You know, Jaywin Wilson did the perfect job of changing levels and getting the underhooks at the exact same time. That stuffs his takedown. He was able to not just do that, but also reverse his man up against the cage and land some shots that are already leaving their mark on the face of Ben Guillot here in round 1. Knees from Jaywin Wilson.
Benakaju, if you will.
That's right.
There's a story there. It's actually Benjamin. But yeah, you're right. Benjamin's having a hard time here up against the fence, and Jaywin Wilson's really putting the pressure on. There is that age difference. I think Jaywin has a few years on him. Just a little bit more explosive at this point. Guillot not backing up, though.
Jaywin seemed to finding more confidence as the round goes on, no longer backing up as much, but trying to pick his shots. And right now, the bearded assassin's going to have to find a way to get in and take away this reach advantage. As you see there, Jaywin Wilson sticking and moving.
Without a doubt. And want to thank everybody, and I'm sure you've thanked him a number of times for watching on Flow Combat. Wow, Flow Combat is blowing up before our eyes in a good way, not a bad way, and continues to add networks. Flow Sports, they just added Flow Slams. The big left head kick drops him to his knees. Jaywin Wilson is really beating up on Benjamin Guillot.
Those knees went out from the legs of Ben Guillot when he ate that head kick. Wilson's got to know that he's probably got his man a little frustrated with these stand-up exchanges. Will he look for the finish early here in round 1?
Tell you what, that head kick really rang his bell, but quickly back up to his feet is Benjamin Guillot. That shows the toughness of Guillot.
And knees and kicks and punches. There was a good knee and
nice
a hook.
Separation by Guillot. Nice left hook lands.
Those punches did find their mark, but Wilson undeterred.
In this instance, we are seeing the reach come into play here, and Jaywin Wilson's just he's got that timing down, he's got his range down right now, and he's really controlled this fight. Oh, and he ducks that kick, but is met with a big right hook, and that'll be it for round number 1. Fun round.
Great round. Guillot, definitely the more, what you might call anxious of the 2 fighters. I mean, certainly a little more spasmodic in his movements. Seems a little more, or a little less controlled, you might say. I mean, definitely, effective, but there's the left high kick. You see that found its mark. Certainly dropped Guillot, but he did pop right back up. Tough as nails, as you can see. But it looks like he's got a little bit of a code to crack here with Jaywin Wilson. He's going to have to come out in round 2 looking a little different, maybe changing the game plan up. I don't know if that's a takedown or if that's maybe creating more angles on the feet, but that round pretty safely went to Jaywin Wilson.
The one thing that I did like to see out of Guillot there in that round is when he got into the clinch and separated voluntarily, and there it is right there. Yep. If he can get inside the range, do a little dirty boxing and land those short strikes, then that's going to be his best chance. But hanging out on the outside with Jaywin Wilson is just going to end up with a knockout.
Jaywin Wilson, good hands, but not also good feet, as we saw, and good knees. So round number 2, here we go. Ben Guillot, Jaywin Wilson.
That's a Georgia Sports Hall of Fame referee there, Blake Rice.
Two-time Hall of Fame. Don't get that wrong. He will let you know.
One of the best striking coaches in the area, as well as Blake Rice. And
yep.
Man, he goes all over the world like myself, and just you can find him in all kinds of different organizations internationally. So a great referee to have here at U.S. Freedom Fighter Championship.
Ben Guillot chasing with a kick. Wilson dances out of the way effectively.
One thing you can say about Guillot is he has nothing to lose. He fights like a maniac, and he's just going to throw. And all it takes is one shot if you're aggressive like that. And now using his leverage and trying to bring Jaywin Wilson down, but he's going to have a hard time with that frame.
Yeah, Wilson tagged him a couple times. That seemed to frustrate Ben Guillot, who just plowed forward and clinched up with his man. But now, up against the cage, looking for some type of a wizard to get out from the clinch. Swings and misses.
Well, there was that separation. He just couldn't get it quick enough. But Benjamin Guillot, he's still dangerous, but Jaywin Wilson just seems a little bit more composed.
A little more poise in there. But you can't underestimate a guy with the power like Ben Guillot. He's one punch away from winning.
Well, now Combat Club out of Jacksonville has produced some really tough fighters. Marcus Levester comes to mind. There's a few different guys, Andre Hall, etc. So they've produced some nice fighters. I don't know if the whole team's here, though. But they do have a nice pedigree. So Benjamin Guillot has a nice team that he works out with.
And Jaywin
Wilson,
Wilson
definitely has the advantage there as far as fight teams.
A little more clout attached to that camp for sure. But, this fight's distance has closed a little bit. Now, if I'm Jaywin Wilson, I want to extend that distance a little bit. So far, things have worked out, but Ben Guillot slowly inching his way into that range. Can he capitalize? That was a tough shot. And another one.
Oh, another left straight. And Jaywin Wilson is right on target right now, continues to batter the face of Benjamin Guillot.
Look at the poise of Jaywin Wilson, Cyrus Fees. I mean, here's a guy that seems to be landing most of the stuff he's trying to go for and not taking any damage, and he's calm.
I want to see him mix that high kick in once again, or even go to the body, go for a body kick. He has so much range and such long legs.
He does.
That right now he's right there in that range, and he can land that shot.
He looks like he's in the right weight class to me at 155 pounds.
Oh, he's a big lightweight.
He's a big lightweight. You can tell that looking at him. Still bouncing around here. 30 seconds left to go in round 2. Takedown attempt from Ben Guillot. Shrugs him right off. Punch lands.
You know what that shows me for Jaywin Wilson, and what really gives him an advantage is to work out with a guy, two lightweights that are very talented and have had great careers in Tony Tan and Kevin Ferrant. These guys have been, to the top or close to the top. So that's great training partners. You can't beat training like that, and it shows.
There you saw a trip takedown attempt fail, and now Jaywin Wilson finds himself in top position. And this has really been a tough 2 rounds for Ben Guillot, who hasn't been able to amount much damage. Is still in this, and that he is not, finished or anything. But I would say here in the 3rd round, he's got to finish. And that could be really tough for a guy that's yet to crack the code of Jaywin Wilson.
Well, he definitely has a puncher's chance. You always got to give that to anybody that steps inside of the cage, and he does throw hard. That being said, Jaywin Wilson he really looks dialed in, doesn't he?
He does.
As you take a look at the replay here, I mean, he just keeps that range. He doesn't really overcompensate, doesn't really overextend.
Counter punches very effectively as well.
Yes, great counter punches as well. You're right. Hitting well off of his back feet.
And there was 1 or 2 times where Guillot did, get some distance and drop levels and get close for takedowns. But Wilson really showed some great defense and the ability to drop levels himself, get those double unders, and just shrug them right off. There you see some punching combinations finding their mark. A lot of them finding their mark, actually. Backing up Ben Guillot, who's just so far been unable to answer Jaywin Wilson.
No, you're right. 3rd and final round, so we'll see. I mean, obviously, Guillot's going to throw everything out there. He's going to give you everything that he has.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
So look for a very aggressive round here, and I expect that Jaywin Wilson ends up putting him on his back, if I had to guess.
Ben Guillot runs to the center of the cage, smiling, bouncing around. That doesn't look like a guy that's given up. Left hook finds its mark. Ben Guillot to be landing the toughest shot of the night for him here in the third round.
Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, though. Jaywin Wilson quickly gains control, and it seems like Guillot's giving him everything that he has, but I don't know that he has enough power in those fists to drop a guy like Jaywin Wilson right now. Young, durable fighter, Jaywin Wilson.
Who's returning with shots of his own. Superman punch and an uppercut. Great combinations from Jaywin Wilson.
Jaywin getting a little bit more aggressive, and that's fun to see because he has the strikes, he has the creative techniques.
Yeah, talk about a guy with a future ahead of him. You know, Jaywin Wilson displaying some great mixed martial arts ability here tonight. Front kick almost finds its mark. Yeah, weren't expecting that.
You know, the thing that really has always impressed me about Hayastan is how they've been able to continue on without Paul Bua. That was such a huge loss to the MMA community, and they could have just very much closed those doors and packed it all in. But they continued in his legacy. They had a lot of fighters that depended on that gym, and Tony Tan and Kevin Ferrant kept it going. And I just give them a ton of credit for that, for not closing up shop and just giving up and continuing to ride out his legacy. So.
Jaywin Wilson in the southpaw stance. That was a
big
slip,
left.
I think, but he eats a combination on his way up.
Beautiful 1-2s here by Jaywin Wilson.
And you know, you wonder sometimes, as Jaywin Wilson is a southpaw, how much experience does Guillot have fighting against southpaws? He seems frustrated with some of these punching exchanges.
No, he does. He doesn't seem to have an answer for it.
And you watch that lead foot. You always want to have that on the outside. And that's one thing that Wilson's been able to do, and it's really helped him control these striking exchanges as a southpaw.
No doubt.
And sometimes when you have an orthodox with a southpaw like this, it can be awkward because they're both, jabbing at each other. But Wilson really taking advantage of these exchanges. Blood trickling from the right eye now of Ben Guillot. A mouse on the other side. Eats a head kick for his troubles. He felt that one.
Jaywin Wilson just kind of sizing him up, and a nice catch and right hook by Guillot, but just not enough in those punches, Matt. He's just not doing anything to hurt Jaywin Wilson. You're not really seeing any sort of damage on Jaywin Wilson, even from the strikes he has taken. And just a bigger, stronger fighter is Jaywin, the alpha.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see
living up to that moniker.
Yeah, there's a size discrepancy here. That's going to happen. I mean, when you got to meet at a certain weight, you want to be as athletically, strong and fast as you can. And I think Jaywin Wilson has a little, bit of an advantage in the just sheer athleticism department.
Boy, he looks great backing up with those counter punches. I love the way he backs up and puts that hand out there and lands the strikes. Can really frustrate a fighter. And the alpha, Jaywin Wilson, most definitely cruising to a victory as we once again go the distance here at the USFFC.
And what a great display that was. I mean, you saw it here in the preview. I mean, even though Ben Guillot may not have won this fight, at least that's our prediction, he's hung in there the whole time, and he remained tough. And it wasn't for lack of effort. I mean, here's a guy that came forward. He tried to put punching combinations together, even in the tail end of the third round. You see it here. I mean, he was losing some of these exchanges, but it didn't stop him from taking a shot. And you're going to miss every shot you don't take, as Wayne Gretzky once said. But this is a fight that can be only one winner. The judges have that determined, and now Cyrus Fees will make his way around. That's the process, folks. If you're the announcer, it's your job to walk around to each individual judge, pick up their little piece of paper they hand you, you look at them, and then you go up there and you just read what you're given. It's that simple. We're about to get that decision here from the judges in just a moment between Ben Guillot and Jaywin Wilson at 155 pounds here at USFFC 29.
All right, they go all 3 rounds. Give them a round of applause. Both fighters going the distance. Time to go to the judges' scorecard. The judges scored the fight 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. All in favor for your winner. Out of the red corner, the Alpha, Jaywin Wilson.